Hey guys, insight number five. There we go. 5 fingers. Last one of the week. This is in John 10. I'm covering verses 1 through 28. Looks like I've written, 28. Although there's a whole lot more in there that you can continue on reading. Like, don't stop there. It goes right through to 42. But there's just some really good qualities of what a shepherd is and what a good shepherd is. The last part of it is just it's Jesus talking more on that. I'm just covering the first bit that actually lists the qualities. So what does make a good shepherd? Like, if you're talking literally about sheep and shepherding, what makes a good shepherd? Right? Someone that turns up, someone that does a good job, someone that knows what he's doing. Like, what are those qualities? So he says some of the qualities in here. So it actually indicates there in verse 1 that he's standing by the door to the sheepfold. Entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber. So he's like, but he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. So there's like if you're from New Zealand, you'd know how you herd sheep through and there's a word for it, and I can't think of it because I'm not a farmer. But where there's like gates and you like herd them through so they're all safe. They don't bump into each other and hurt each other, and they all get contained safely and they feel safe because that's what sheep do. So there is evidence to say that he was standing and teaching at a place like this. And there's a name for it and I cannot think of it. I'm very sorry. So he's saying that, if you're going to enter in by another way, then you're just stealing the sheep. But if you go in by the same way as the sheep, then you are their shepherd. So he's pointing out, okay, to be a shepherd, you must lead the people, not come in another way and just take what's there. You've got to lead them. Be that leader. Oh, there's the most beautiful little bird out there. Oh my gosh, sorry, totally distracted. Okay, so he goes on and talks about things, and he talks about verse 4, when he putteth forth his own sheep and goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Okay, so a good shepherd, the sheep will recognize his voice. A stranger they won't follow because they don't know the voice of the strangers. A parable Jesus speaks unto them. He says there about that, just teaching about sheep and how they listen to that voice, and when thieves and robbers comes but they don't hear them. He says in verse 9, I am the door. By me if any man enter in, he shall be saved. So he's like again talking about, he is the way. The thief come but not to steal and destroy. I am that they might have life, So again, he's the doorway, he's given life. So there's some things in there you might want to pull out. I'm kind of rambling a bit here because I know what I'm thinking, but you probably don't. So maybe go through these things and compare it to Psalm 23. Psalm 23 is written by David, supposedly, probably, speaks about the same kind of things. That's the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He lieth down in green pastures. He makes my life wonderful. He looks after me. That stuff. Verse 10 actually. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So thieves and robbers, they come to take away from you, to kill and destroy. And he's like, I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to tear you down and destroy you. I'm here that you can have life, and not just life, but abundance of life, like good stuff and abundantly. Yeah, and you might be thinking, well, where's that right now? And I'm like, well, if you really thought about the good stuff you have, because there's a lot of stuff we're going without right now, a lot of it. Like, I'm like, well, I don't have this, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, but I do have clean drinking water. I do have a comfortable bed. I do have shoes. I'm wearing clothes. I had a nice hot shower this morning. I'd call that pretty abundant, actually, because I've had times where I've not had any of those things. So I'm really happy, actually. So maybe examine some of your expectations around that. If I'm just saying, if you're not feeling it, maybe you're not feeling it today. And, it's okay. But other days, try looking for that because it's there. Then 11, he says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for his sheep. So it's another good attribute of the shepherd. If they were under attack, the shepherd would stand up and give his life for those sheep. And Christ does that. And he talks again about the verse 14. I like that. Or they say, if you're a hireling, like if you're brought in to, like a substitute teacher, Like, you have your main teacher, he's a substitute teacher because the other teacher's got to do something else that day. Then they're not going to protect them the same way, because to them it's not as important. They'll flee away if a wolf comes, because they're like, oh, it's all right, I'm out. I'm just filling in for the day. I'm out. So he's like, I'm not that. I am going to always be there. I'm not going to take a sick day. I am not going to need more trained. I'm going to be able to do all of that and stay there and be your shepherd. And in 14, I really like, he says, I am the good shepherd and know my sheep, and I am known of mine. So he knows us, and the ones that know him, he said, and I'm known by my sheep. They know me, and we do. And as the Father knoweth me, I will lay down my life for the sheep. So there's some really good things in there about the characteristics of Christ and what a good shepherd is and what it looks like. And then in 23 through to the end of it, I think would be really good to read would be, he comes out onto, he's in Solomon's temple out on the porch, and he's actually talking about all the things, again, that a shepherd would do. And they want to stone him. And this is because he says in 32, you want to stone me again, because at the end of chapter 8, they wanted to stone him for the first time. So it's starting to get ugly for him, as you can see in like the crowds. It's getting ugly. And then finishes off, like, look at my works, and if you believe the works, then you know me. And he just says some of those things. There's some that believed in him, you see at the end there, but it's a really like good just chapter to like, pull it apart. If you've got some older kids, like ask them what is a good shepherd, what is a good leader, how do you know you can trust them, and have a look at that and have a discussion around that. So what makes a good shepherd? Jesus teaches these qualities, placing himself as the shepherd. How many can you name? What can you pull out? Verse 3 and 27 are great examples. As sheep we know his voice and follow him, trusting he will lead us safely. Verse 14 I love, because he does know each of us and we know him. How well? Well, that's up to us, isn't it? And in verse 10, we can know life more abundantly because of him. And how does that show up in your life? And the Come Follow Me Manual 2 has that beautiful picture this week, which is a Simon Dewey. No, Greg Olson. My apologies. That one. I put it in my journal there. But it's quite a beautiful painting that you could have there. Just put it up in your home on the fridge for the week or something. I don't know. But yeah, how does this show up in your life? Living abundantly. Because a lot of people, as I said, a lot of people think, oh, I don't live abundantly. And actually, if you re-examined it with a bit of a finer tooth comb, you probably would see that. So, let's have a look at how this abundance comes in. This is Elder Uchtdorf. He says, even when you stumble, even when you turn away from God, God loves you. If you are feeling lost, abandoned, or forgotten, fear not. The good shepherd will find you. He will lift you upon his shoulders and he will carry you home. Now, if that's not abundant love, I don't know what is, because if you had someone take off and run away, how hard is it to find them? Quite hard. It's very stressful. And if you had people doing this all the time and you're constantly running after people and finding them, that's a lot of work. And yet he does it. And he will carry us home. And I'm pretty heavy, so that makes him pretty strong. I know it doesn't mean it that way, but, I just think that's kind of abundant. And actually, if you look in, how does this abundance show up in your life? You'll see it a whole lot more. Ask to see it. Look at those different things that maybe you didn't look like that before. Look at those things before as being abundance. Like, as I said, having clean water to drink. It's quite an abundant thing in the Western world. Even in some places you can't drink the water. I know I don't drink tap water because I get sick from it. Although a lot of people can, but I've got a very delicate digestive system. But I have plenty of bottled water. See, good. New Zealand spring water, nice. So I find that in abundance, and while I might not be able to afford a ton of other things, or a new this, or a new car, or a fancier car, and some people might look at me and be like, oh, and I'm like, well, I have a car. To me, that is abundance. I have a car that starts when I need it to, and I don't need to get it fixed all the time. To me, that is abundance. So have a look at those different things. So yeah, even when we feel lost, abandoned, or forgotten, he hasn't, and there's abundance to be found if we can look and lose that spiritual blindness. We'll be able to see it. We'll be able to know it. So that's just the Good Shepherd sort of really coming through this week as to how that works and how he is and how it's going to bless us. Yeah, it's just some good stuff. There really is in here. It's a very good 4 little chapters to look on around how there's mercy, how Jesus is, how he reacts, and the characteristics and the attributes that can really show us how he is a good shepherd. So that was the focus of this week, and I hope something really inspired you and uplifted you. I will be back again here next week, and we'll be able to look at, I think there's more parables, which is awesome because I love parables. So we'll look at those, and very soon we're going to run out of Jesus in Now Come Follow Me, and we'll be looking, he'll be into crucifixion time. Not that we ever run out of Jesus, I'm just meaning like his actual life study, because it's a very short space of time. Very, very short little space of time that we cover of his actual living on earth. But thank goodness we know so much more about him, right? Awesome. Okay, you guys have a safe weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.